Mr. Decker, good morning.
Good morning.
We're here on behalf of Hometown Concessions. We're trying to update the website and add some personal perspective on some of the city officials here, on how the city is run, and how the Hometown Concessions has an impact on the operations of the city.
Sure.
In doing so, I'd like to have you please introduce yourself for us.
Sure. My name is Don Decker. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Weston. I've been here since 2001, so I'm going on my 15th year with the city.
Excellent. During that time, can you give us a brief synopsis of what this great city of Weston is all about? You seem to have a pulse on everything that's happening here, and certainly your office is one that touches on every aspect of our life here.
Sure. Well, I use my personal example. When I moved to Florida and I asked the realtor, where should I live? They asked me some specific information. Will you have children? Are you active? And I said yes to both of those answers. They said, well, then you need to move to Weston because that's a great place for families. Schools are great, parks are great, lots of activities for the kids. And I really think that's what Weston's all about. It's a great bedroom community, a safe, active place to be living as a family. My kids are in the pool, on the fields. So personally, that's why I want to live here, and professionally, that's why it makes it a great place to work.
Fantastic. What are your specific responsibilities within the city as head of the Parks and Recreation?
I manage all of our parks. We have 242 acres of parks. 3 of them are our most active parks, which the sports community is most interested in. That's Vista Park, Regional Park, and Cuesta Trace Park. Within those 3 parks, we provide baseball, soccer, basketball, roller hockey, the YMCA with their swimming pool. Basically all the active outdoor exercise you can do is likely going to happen in one of our 3 major parks. We also have the tennis center, some passive parks in the city as well, but those 3 parks are really get most of the attention in the community.
Excellent. There's an organization here that we've been learning more and more about, Hometown Concessions, and Steve Jahota. I understand their involvement with the city has been from the outset of the creation of the City of Weston. I understand he's in fact one of the original settlers out here, if you want to call it. What has been your experience, and what can you tell us about Hometown and Steve Jahota?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I think the name Hometown Concessions is a little bit misnomer because Hometown does a whole lot more than just sell food at the concession stands. That's probably what most of the community knows, but they're much more involved out here. Steve has been a good partner with the city on so many activities that people would recognize but not know he's a part of. From our 4th of July parade, when he provides food and refreshments for the runners, to hurricane help. When we had Hurricane Wilma come through here, Steve made sure that the police and firefighters were fed and well taken care of for the first 3 or 4 days after the storm. The list could go on and on, but his visibility probably is most known to the residents from the banner program that he has out here. When you drive into any of our 3 parks, obviously you're going to notice our well manicured grounds, but the only advertising really that you see in the city of Weston is through banners that are out in our parks. And he's been running that program now for at least 6-7 years and doing a very good job of that for us.
Fantastic. I understand he's also historically been one of the largest fundraisers for the city.
Oh, sure, absolutely. The provision that we have with the agreement we have with Hometown Concessions provides that some of the revenue that he generates must be shared both with the city and with the various sports leagues that are part of the Western Sports Alliance. That extends from his concession sales, food and beverage, all the way to the banner program. And so while he does make some money off those programs, the fact of the matter is that revenue is shared by other entities that are out here, the most important of which are the sports leagues. Really, when they can take advantage of some of those revenues that are generated, that goes right to their bottom line to helping reduce the costs for those people who are participating. It helps to provide for the materials and supplies that they need from the soccer ball. So it really helps to offset every dime that they can make through his concession revenue, makes it easier for them to keep their costs down.
Excellent. You mentioned the sports teams, and clearly one stands out for Mr. Joe that we know of. He always speaks about his VIP program. Can you shed some light on us on that program, please?
Sure. I think the VIP soccer program that you're referring to has been going on for as long as I've been out here. I don't know what the start date was, but that program for kids with special needs, to have a place to come out and play in a safe and warm environment, I think is probably one of the better programs that we have out here, but doesn't get a whole lot of recognition, isn't well known. They're only out here once a week, just in the mornings, and so most people probably wouldn't even know what's going on. But if you have a child with special needs, you probably embrace it as one of the most important programs that we have. Steve's ability to sustain that program, help them sustain themselves through his financial contributions, again, that's a program that is completely free to the participants. There's nothing charged to them, and the only way that can happen is through gifts such as what comes from Hometown Concessions.
Excellent, excellent. Lastly, Mr. Decker, if you'd be so kind, how do you see the future of Weston and Hometown's involvement in it?
Well, Weston is built out. We can't build more parks. There's no place left to build. However, what we can do is we can continue to reinvest in our park system and continue to make it nice for the next generation. Some of that is coming up even as we speak. We're getting ready to start putting artificial turf in some of our soccer fields. What that's really going to do is provide for not only a better playing surface for those people who get to use it, but it's going to allow for year-round play, when traditionally in the summertime right now, as we're sitting here, a lot of our activity comes to an end until we get back to September or October. But if we have artificial turf fields, now we can extend that playing time. Now you can play in the summer, we can play in the winter, we can play several days, even in the midst of heavy rains of September. That extension, I think, for those people who might be interested in advertising the parks, is going to be good as well. That means more eyeballs on those advertisements throughout the course of the year, not just in the traditional seasons of fall and spring, but now also summertime people are going to be in the parks, in the winter people are going to be in the parks. I think that's going to help a lot. So from the city's point of view, that reinvestment, of course, is going to help everybody as we can continue to keep our parks in good condition, safe. People are going to continue to want to play out here. Perhaps with artificial surfaces, we might be able to have more tournaments, groups coming in from outside the area. That is good for the community, that's good for hotels, that's good for restaurants, and that's good for Steve as well with Hometown Concessions, who can take advantage of those additional bodies in the parks as well. So I think the future is very bright from a park standpoint. I think Steve's continued involvement only is good for the community, because without him, and historically, if you look at other cities around here, most people are not having the good fortune with concessions that we do. Most people are just scraping to get by, where we have a constant, reliable source to provide for those needs out here. Other cities are doing it. Maybe this league runs it, maybe that league runs it, maybe they don't open their concession stands at all. We're very fortunate, and I think that it would be our desire to keep that relationship going for a long time.
Well, excellent. Well, Mr. Decker, I do thank you for your time. This has been very rewarding, very informative, and we look forward to future visits with you and future interviews. We thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.